class, go ahead and unmute yourself and shout out. I teach in a very informal way, I guess you could say. So yeah, open to questions, comments, moans, groans, occasional curse words, whatever. If you need to throw those out, go for it. So today our class is all about twists and turns. I want you to have a block. I've got a blanket on my mat as well because we're going to begin on our knees. And so I just want a little comfort on my knees, but the blanket is optional for you. I do want you to have a block though. And so what this means, this twist and turn theme, is that we're going to be using both ends of our mat. So I want to give you a heads up on that, so there's nothing too startling. We'll begin, as we do, facing what in your orientation is the head or the front of your mat, and then over the course of the practice we'll flip it, and what you would technically consider the foot or the back of your mat will then become the front. So bear with me, it'll be fun, we'll have a great time. But I got to thinking about these twists and turns because I'm reading through a really old book on yoga philosophy, and by George Feuerstein, who I really like. He's no longer on the planet, but I really like the way he writes. It can get a little too heady for me sometimes. He's very much steeped in the philosophy and the Sanskrit and all that. But anyway, this one book, I'm kind of going through different essays of his, and I was reminded how the aesthetics of the aesthetics in yoga history, and even still today, they view the body as being like really vile. You know, it's just like this sack of skin that inhabit all these vile things, products, ingredients inhabit this sack of skin, right? Like it's all in the old text, the Upanishads. There's, you know, it's just the skin is just an envelope containing, you know, mucus and phlegm and feces and urine and bacteria, and I mean, it's, you know, and it's like blah. And there's certainly a school of thought in both yoga as well as in Buddhism that you know, part of the practice is to meditate on your body decaying. Anyway, so I'm reading that and I'm like, wow, that is like a big plot twist, because it's a big plot twist. My perception and my take on yoga and the body is that the body is such a vehicle, and it's such a temple that houses these really beautiful and pure and amazing physiological factors. And it's not to say that the aesthetics are wrong. It's not to say that, you know, the other side is right. It's just you've got two very different views all encapsulated in yoga. So anyway, I got to thinking about that and thinking about when I started practicing, before I started teaching, and just what brought me to practicing yoga. And for me, it was definitely my body that needed some fixing, I thought. So I don't know, I just wanted to put that out there to you. Consider what brought you to your mat in the first place, why, and how's it working for you? And what's keeping you around? I mean, I know many of you on the screen have been practicing for years, if not decades. And so what's shifted? What sorts of twists and turns have you had in your practice that's changed things? I mean, I'm almost 54, and I'll tell you, some things are not so important to me as they were when I was 35 and practicing. So a lot's changed in my physical practice. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out to you. Consider the plot twists that you've had, not only in your yoga practice, but in your life as well. And what is it about yoga or your meditation practice or your community that has kept you anchored and grounded during those plot twists? So anyway, on your block, please, we're going to start out in Virasana. And what that means is we're going to be sitting on our shins. Now, I will put a block underneath my tush. I know some of y'all will want to take your butt right down between your heels or your ankles, but you know, we're just getting started. So go easy on your bones and your joints and sit up on your block, or if you've got cushions, you might build yourself a little perch. so that you can sit up tall. And if this flexion in your knees and this extension in your ankles is like not going to happen today, don't do it. Sit in a comfortable cross-legged position or get yourself up onto the seat of a chair. Rest your palms down, please, on your legs. And build your spine like you're putting together the rungs of a ladder, one vertebrae on top of the other. Allowing for the natural curves of your spine, but using your hips, your shoulders, and your ears as your plumb line. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, let your eyes close. And invite your next inhalation to kind of billow up your lungs even more. Getting a felt sense for your ribs expanding, not just forward, but out to the side and into your back as well as you breathe in. And when you exhale, drop deeper, drop further into your sitting bones and into your lower limbs. Good. Let's take about another minute or a minute and a half, just simply transitioning from the activities of the morning, the weekend, and bringing our body, mind, spirit complex onto our mats. Great. And place your two palms together at your heart, please, the base of your thumbs resting softly at the base of your sternum. Good. And then let your eyes begin to flicker open. And starting with a little breathing technique, I want you to gently clasp your fingers together. As you inhale and your lungs expand and your ribs broaden, take your elbows out to the side and maybe up. And when you exhale from your nose, take your knuckles forward, stretching your arms forward, and drop your chin to your chest. Now spin your palms forward in front of you and then take your arms up overhead, taking your palms to the ceiling as you breathe in. Draw your low belly in so you're not over exaggerating the arch in your lower back. And as you exhale, slowly glide your hands back to your heart. Namaskar Mudra. We're going to go a few more times. I want you to change the interlace of your fingers. Breathing in, lungs expand, ribs broaden, elbows out and up. And breathing out, arms shoot forward. Keep your lower abdomen firm and let this rounding take place in your upper back only. And then spin your palms forward, take your arms up overhead. Breathing in. And return your hands to your heart as you breathe out. Great, let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Chin to your chest, broadening through your upper back, squeezing all the air out. Arms up as you breathe in. Really push through the mound of your index finger, up, 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 up. And then hands to your heart as you exhale. All right, last one on your own. Great. Gently clasp your fingers together again and make some figure eights with your wrists. It's part of the joint freeing series from Mukunda Styles therapeutic yoga method. I like it very much. I want you to switch gears, go the other way. Pause, change the interlace of your fingers so your other pinky's on the outside, and let's make figure eights again. And let's go the other way. Great. Bring your hands down to your lap. Okay. I want you to sweep your arms out to the sides, please. Turn your palms up and then take your arms up overhead. You can see me. You're going to tap hands to elbows. Good. And then you're going to come back out. I want you to do this slowly. Internally rotate your arms and then bring your arms behind your back and bring hands to elbows. Yeah. Okay. We're going to do that a few more times. I want you to be mindful of which arm is on the outside as you come up. So I want you to really move slow from your shoulders. Out. Take your time at this halfway mark, internally rotating your shoulders, and then bring your arms behind your back. Good. And likewise, when you bring your arms out to the side, slowly externally rotate your shoulders and then arms up overhead. So each time you do this, you're going to change which arm is on the outside as you take your arms up and over and then down behind your back. Being really mindful of this mechanics, the mechanics of this internal and external rotation in your shoulder joint, more so than just, flailing your arms up and down. I like this also. How about we go one more time? Right arm on top up there, then right arm on top at the bottom, and then one more time with left arm on top and left arm on the outside. Great. Ah, good deal. Okay, good. Let your arms rest at your sides, please. Bring your left fingertips to the floor, just out beyond your left hip. You're going to sweep your right arm up, and let's do a little side bend over to the left. Ooh, I want you to anchor into your right sitting bone. And if you're in Virasana, hero's pose, anchor into your right shin. Good. Get really grounded and solid through your pelvis, and then lift up, lighten and lift up out of your right flank. Good. Excellent. And then gently press off of your left fingertips, bring both arms up. And now you'll bring your right fingertips to the floor and a big stretch over to the right. Good. Take your head back a little. Remember when we were building the ladder of our spine, allowing for those natural curves, but keeping the ears, the shoulders, and the hips in a plane. Good. Drop into your left sitting bone, anchor into your left buttock. Good. And lift out of your left ribs. Great. And then just gently up off your right fingertips. Both arms come up, please. And now let's twist to the left. You'll bring your left fingertips to the floor behind you and your right hand to your left leg. Just a couple of breaths. Good. And unravel as you inhale. Come back up. Both arms up. And then you'll twist to your right, taking your right fingertips behind you, your left hand to your right leg, your thigh, your knee. Great, good. Nice. Inhale, both arms come back up so you can unwind your spine and then bring your arms down to your sides. We're going to do one more in this seated position. If you need to switch positions to give your knees, your ankles a break, please do. Just got one more to go. Okay. I want you to bring your forearms out in front of you. Elbows in line with your shoulders, and press your forearms together. Press firmly, 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 feeling this broadening through the upper back, the stretching of your rhomboids as you draw your shoulder blades apart. Good. Now, keeping your elbows pinned and your palms pinned, I want you to shift your forearms over to the left. So I'm going to mirror you for this. Elbows stay pinned. And notice the temptation to bring the elbows down. Keep your elbows up in line with your shoulders if you can. Great. And come back up to center. And then pivot your forearms over to the right. Again, notice the temptation to dip the elbows. Keep your elbows up. And notice how this side's different. All right, come back up to center, please. And now you're just going to keep your elbows pinned, and I want you to separate your hands and your forearms. Again, don't let the elbows dip. Keep them up. Good. Good. Press your elbows together, just your forearms and hands come apart. All right, and come back together. Bring your arms down. Good. Come onto your hands and your knees, please. Slide your block up to the top of your sticky mat. Oh, Lord of mercy, it's already hot. It's going to be a steamy one this summer, I fear. Of course, they're always a steamy one in Oklahoma. Whew. Okay, so on your hands and knees, please. Doing this little scap press that I like so well. Again, your lower back and your abdomen, low abs are going to stay fairly taut and in control. The movement's just in your shoulder blades. As you inhale, draw your shoulder blades towards your spine. Your chest will drop slightly. And as you exhale, pull your shoulder blades apart and let just your upper back round. So it's very different than a cat-cow. We're not arching and rounding the whole spine. Really just isolating this movement in the shoulder girdle, the scapula in particular. A couple more times. Great. Okay, so I want you to rock back into child's pose, please. And when you breathe in, I want you to slowly unpack yourself and bring your shoulders over your wrists into staff pose. And now you're ready on the exhalation for downward facing dog. The hips and legs haven't gotten a whole lot of attention yet, but your shoulders are ready. We'll get to the legs in a moment, I promise. When you inhale, return to your hands and knees, and now you can go into that cow pose. You take your tailbone up and you arch, low back, middle back, upper back. Exhale your way to child's pose, balasana. Breathing in, come forward to staff. Strong legs, strong torso, strong shoulders. And then downward facing dog as you exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Great. Let's do one more of those, please. Sweet little simple flow. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, Bala, child's pose. Inhale to staff. And exhale, downward facing dog. And let's hold tight in downward dog. If you're more comfortable on your hands and knees, please, please come to your hands and knees. From downward dog, I want you to march your heels gently, softening one knee at a time. And let's begin exploring what's going on in the back of our legs, opening up the back of our knees, the knee pit. Kind of pumping our calves and hamstrings a bit. Maybe if it feels good, you could take your heels from side to side or your hips from side to side. Just do what comes organically for you and your body. Okay. And begin to bring yourself back to a place of stillness in downward dog. And then I'm going to have you walk your feet together so your big toes touch at the center of your sticky mat. And when you inhale, sweep your right heel up to the ceiling. This is optional. You don't have to do this part. You can stay in dog pose or come to your hands and knees and do this. I want you to keep your hips square right now. So shear your outer right hip down towards the floor a little bit. Good. And as you take your right heel up towards your ceiling, I want you to descend your left heel a little closer to the floor. Good. Now push up through your right heel, really lengthen the back of your right leg. Great. And then you're going to step your right foot forward. Take your time, take as many steps as you want to get your right foot up to the top of your sticky mat. And keep your back knee lifted, if you will. We'll bring it down in just a moment, but for now, keep it lifted and take your block to the inside of your right foot and let your hands, both hands, rest on the rim of your block. So while we're here for just a couple of breaths, I want you to spread your right toes. Notice how that activates the medial arch in your right foot. And then at the same time, begin to push your left heel back, maybe another fraction of an inch. Fire up your left leg. Imagine that I've placed a 10-pound sandbag on the back of your left thigh. You've really got to lift that up away from the floor. Okay, good. We're going to bring the left knee down to the mat now. I'm going to have you take your block, bring it onto its tallest height, and then shift yourself, shift your trunk upright so you're over your hips. And now from here, I'm going to have you walk your block over to the left and set it just outside of your left hip. Then we're going to take our right foot and heel toe it over to the right. Take it over to 3 o'clock. I'll give you a minute. Make sure those instructions made sense. I articulated those okay. So we're set up for a modified Padikasana, right? That's a gate pose. Now your block that's on the left, just to the left of your left knee, it can be on any height that you want it to be on. You might start tall and then go low if you'd like. And then to set this up, I want you to keep your right knee, please, if possible, pretty much stacked over your right ankle. For a lot of us, the knee is going to want to drop inward like so. It's really going to require some action and activity along the outer right thigh and into the buttocks and opening through the inner right thigh. So left hip stacked over left knee stacked over right ankle. Bring your arms out to the sides, please. Good. And let's inhale, arms up. And when you exhale, take your right hand to your right knee and give yourself a side bend over to the right. And then breathing in, you'll bring both arms up to center once more. And now without collapsing, as you breathe out, bring your left fingertips and just tap your block. Don't put weight on it, just barely tap your block as you side bend over to the left. Now moving from your core, inhale and bring your arms up, your spine upright. And as you exhale, right hand to right knee, left arm over left ear. Inhale, rise up. And again, be mindful without collapsing. You're going to side bend over to the left. Left fingertips are just going to hover right at the block. No weight. Let's go one more time. Inhale, arms up. Side bending to the right as you exhale. You can use your right hand to give your right knee just a little gentle reminder to stay back. Inhale, arms up. And now you'll bring your left fingertips to your block and go ahead and give it some weight. Give them some weight. Sweep your right arm over your right ear and reach towards that wall that's beyond your head. Reach, reach, reach. And then notice while you're here, notice what's going on in your abdomen and your lower back. It's so tempting to just kind of like drop out of the muscular action. So I want you to keep your belly engaged. Big stretch through your right ribs. Okay, now listen, pick the block up with your left hand. You're going to bring your block with you as you come back up. Nice. Set your block down in front of you on its tall height. Now you can heel toe your right foot back up to the top of your sticky mat. Yeah, good. The block will support your left hand to your right knee. Here's door number 1. Roll your right shoulder back and just turn your ribs and your sternum and your collarbones to the right. Door number 2 will be to take your right arm up. Okay, stay at either of these two, or door number 3, pull through your right arm, come up into a twist, bend your elbows. Good. Turn your head and look out beyond your left elbow. You can glance down at your right knee. Notice all the wobbly. And again, even though we're honoring the twists and turns and the curves of our spine, still looking to keep the ears, the shoulders, and the hips in the same plane. Good. Now take your arms straight, please. Left arm forward, right arm back. Allow your left hand to find your block. Right arm sweeps up. Good. Right hand to your right knee. So we're back where we started. And then either stay here for the next few breaths or kick your left heel up behind you. Reach back with your right hand. Take a hold of the foot, the ankle, or pant leg. And let's open up our left hip flexors. I'm going to encourage you to look down to the floor. Excellent. Let's go one more breath. Okay, you can let go of your foot if you've got it. Sweep your right arm up and over. Set your block to the side. And then with both hands on your sticky mat, lift your left knee up, and we're ready to step back to downward facing dog. Woo-wee. That's a different dog. All right. Got to repeat this on the other side. Walk your feet together so your big toes touch. Inhale, float your left heel up. Keep your hips square for me. Good. And as you lift up through your left heel, drop into your right heel. And now visualize how you're going to step your foot forward. Take as many steps as you'd like. And boom, there it is, left foot forward. We're going to stay off the right knee for now, if that works for you. Bring your block to the inside of your left foot. Both hands to your block. Scoot your right toes back. And pick your left toes up. All right. Set your right knee to the mat, please. Lift your block onto its tallest height. And then shift your hips back a little and bring your trunk back so that you're upright and vertical. Take your block over to the right, just outside of your right knee, and then heel toe your left foot. Keep your knee bent, heel toe your left foot over to the 9 o'clock position. So left toes, left heel, right knee, block, all on the same line, all on the same plane. Okay, arms outstretched. Let's pause here for a moment. Let's check the lines. Left knee over left ankle. Good, big breath in, arms up. And we're going to side bend to the left as we exhale. Rise up as you breathe in. You're going to side bend to the right when you exhale. Just let your fingertips tap the block, no weight. So really relying on our abdominal muscles to bring us through this flow. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, side bending to the left. Arms up. And side bending to the right. Left arm reaching well over your left ear. Last one. Inhale, rise up. exhale, side bend to the left. And this is it, coming back up to vertical as you breathe in. Now your right fingertips will find your block. Allow them to have a bit more weight as you reach your left arm beyond your head. Engage through your belly, please. Draw the pit of your abdomen in. So you're not over exaggerating the arch in your lower back. Good, big reach. Now bring your block with you and up you go. Excellent. Set your block down in front on its tallest height. And now you can heel toe your left foot back to 12 o'clock, back to the top of your sticky mat. Good. And then the block can come underneath your right hand. And remember, we've got 3 stages. Right hand block, left hand, left knee, turn to your left. Stage number 2, left arm up. And number 3, kick your right heel up behind you, reach your left arm back, grab your foot, your pant leg, and then look down to your right hand. Good. We're going to come out of this the way we came in. Release your foot if you've got it. Take your left arm straight up. Left hand to your left knee. Good. And then you'll square your left toes, set your block to the side. Fingertips to your mat. Now listen, I'm going to have you step forward. So lift your right knee up. Find that big stretch from heel to heel. And then gently, holy smokes, right foot forward next to your left foot. Ooh, that was a tough one. Okay, good. Over the course of a deep breath in, slowly round yourself up. You can take as many breaths as you like. Round up, stack your vertebrae one on top of the other. Ooh, yeah, unhinge. Finally, at long last, standing up tall in Tadasana. All right, so that was the warm up. Now we got some partying. Well, not really partying to do, but you know what I mean. We're gonna like rock this thing. Something like that. I'm such a dork. Okay, so I want you to breathe in, bring your arms up overhead, clasp your thumbs together, side bend to the left as you exhale. Not going to stay long, just for the duration of the out breath. Come upright as you inhale, change the hook of your thumbs. Belly firm, side bend to your other side as you exhale. Good. Back up to center, please. Breathing in. And now I'm going to have you bring your arms behind your back with this internal rotation of your shoulders, opposite hands to opposite elbows. Okay. From here, you're going to hinge at your hips and just come halfway down. So you can feel the muscles of your back really engaging underneath your forearms. Okay, pause here, crown of your head reaching to the wall in front of you. And I want you to shift your body weight into your left leg. Maybe even lift your right heel up slightly. And then pull your right knee into your left knee and lift your right foot up off the floor. Good, your knees are touching. Keep your spine long. Good, now shoot your right foot back. Release your arms for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Good, let's take a couple of breaths in Warrior One, anchoring into your back foot, lunging ever deeper into your front hip crease and your front knee. So remember I told you we were going to use both ends of our mat. So here we go. We're going to open up into Warrior Two, but facing the back of the mat. So as your arms open wide to the side, you got some fancy footwork to spin your toes to the back of your mat. And then, you know, adjust your lines. So now your right knee is bent and the front knee. Yep. Okay. Back leg, left leg is straight. Good. Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to come into triangle pose next, please. Left hand down as you straighten your right leg. Take your right arm up. Reach up, reach up, reach up from your right big toe to your right fingers. Lift. And then as you exhale, reach your right arm and your right ribs out over your right leg. And when you can't go anymore, right hand can rest lightly on your right shin, and left arm can float up. Take a couple of breaths in triangle pose. We're going to explore a different triangle pose in a minute with a different orientation to gravity. Go ahead, find your feet. Strengthen up the pillars of your legs. Strong and steady in your core. Your arms are floating light. Okay, here we go. Trikonasana number 2. I want you to turn your trunk a quarter turn to the right. Take your arms out like the wings of a great bird. Bend your right knee slowly. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Good. Come up onto the ball of your back foot. And now I'm going to have you sweep your right foot and leg over to the left. What? Yes. So about halfway down your mat, slide your right foot to the left. It'll come off your mat. Okay. And then you can drop your left foot down. So the instep of your left foot is on the mat. Left leg is straight behind you. Right leg is straight out to the left. Both hands to your sticky mat and let's twist, twist, twist. Looking out beyond our hands for what is now the top of the mat, which is traditionally the back of the mat. Good, spin, spin, spin. So now you're welcome to stay here, or we're going to lift this up. We're going to elevate our triangle pose, plant firmly into your right hand, and up you go. Lift your hips, both legs are straight, and take your left arm up. Yay, good. Belly in, strong in your right shoulder. And you can look down to the floor, which is my preference, or you can look ahead and make a face at the camera, or you can look up to the ceiling, whatever floats your boat. Legs are strong and totally amped up right now. One more breath. Bring your left hand to the mat, and then you're going to bend your right knee and pull your right knee back to center. Find your way to downward dog. And let's come into three-legged dog. Right leg up. Roll your hip back, bend your right knee. This is as complicated as it's going to get. Good. Big stretch through the right hip flexors. And now square your hips once more, straighten your right leg, and you're going to step your right foot forward. Okay. Lift yourself up into a high lunge. Elbows bent. Bring your forearms together for Garudasana. Right elbow, let's go left elbow under right. Left elbow under right. Okay. Okay, once you've got your Garudasana arms, now we've got to go into Garudasana legs. So pour some more weight and energy into your right leg. Get light on your left toes. And then here we go. Wrap your left leg around your right leg. Bend your knees and sink low into your Garuda nest, your eagle nest. Hips low, knees bent. Press your forearms forward. Oh, fabulous. You look smashing. Okay. You're going to untangle your legs, untangle your arms, step your left foot down, arms up, and then hands to your heart. Okay, now we got to do that to the other side. So we get back to the traditional top of our sticky mat. Sweep your arms out and up as you inhale, please. Hook your thumbs at the top of your breath. You're going to side bend to the left as you exhale. Rise up as you inhale. Change the cross of your thumbs. The side bend to the right as you exhale. Back up to center, please. Release your thumbs and slowly outstretch your arms. Find that internal rotation in your shoulders and bring your arms behind your back. Good. Begin to hinge at your hip crease. Come halfway down, Ardha Uttanasana. Pause at the halfway point. Shift your body weight into your right leg. Draw your left knee in to meet your right knee and allow your left foot to lift up off the floor. Knees together, left knee is a little bent. Good. Nice. And now you're going to shoot your left leg back. Good. Sweep. And your heel comes down. Sweep your arms up. Virabhadrasana 1. Warrior 1. Good. Draw your outer hip forward, your back hip forward, left hip. Yeah, good. Right hip can go back just a little bit. Good. Nicely done. Okay. Fancy footwork, y'all. Here it comes. Open your arms out to the sides and then pivot on your heels, taking your feet to the top of your mat, or facing, sorry, warrior two, left toes facing the top of your mat. And then, position yourself. If you need to walk your left foot over to the left a little bit, adjust. So here we are, Virabhadrasana 2. Trikonasana, inhale, straighten your left leg, take your left arm up, right arm down. Get long, long, long. And then here we go. Hinge at your left hip crease and come down. At some point, your body stops. Bring your left hand to your left shin at that point and float your right arm straight up, trying to find that vertical line between right and left wrists. Again, I fancy looking at the floor. I find that helps my balance and it's easier on my neck, but you do you, boo. You look where it's appropriate for your body to maintain a sense of calm, a sense of balance amidst the twists and turns of your practice. So here we go. I'm going to have you rotate your trunk a quarter turn to the left, bend your left knee deeply, bring your fingertips to the floor. And now it's the left leg that's going to shoot out to the right. So you'll walk your left foot back a step and then take your left leg out to the right, come down onto the outer left hip, roll your right heel down to the mat. Both hands firm on your mat, turn your belly to the left, turn your sternum, your ribs to the left, looking out beyond the top of your mat. Because now you're welcome to stay here, kind of a funky, twisted version of triangle pose. Or plant strong into your left hand and left shoulder, lift your hips, and lift your right arm up. Good. And then wave. Hey, babe. Again, I like to look down. You look forward or up, whatever suits you. Keep your left foot active, please. Spread your toes. I think that's enough of that. Bring your right hand to the floor. You bend your left knee, sweep it back into center. Gently make your way to downward dog. And then let's take the left heel up right away. Roll your left hip back, bending your left knee. Big yawn through your left hip flexors. And then re-extend your leg as you square your hips, please. You're going to step your left foot forward to the top of your mat. Finding this high lunge, take your time, lifting yourself upright. This is it, last call, y'all. This is it, last call for the standing sequence. Bring your arms forward. Elbows bend, right elbow can go under left elbow and you can spin, or remember what we did at the beginning of the class. We just had the forearms pinned together. Totally legal. And then from here, it gets a little dicier, a little spicier, because you're going to get light on your right toes and then wrap your right leg around your left leg, coming into Garudasana eagle pose. And then sink low, sink, sink, sink. Good, let me take a look. Nice, good, 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 good. Beautiful. Okay. Unravel, unpack, both feet to the floor. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhaling, come halfway up. Fingertips can stay on the mat or hands might glide up to your shins. And then exhale, bow forward. Walk your feet back one at a time, please, to staff. Adho Mukha Dandasana, downward facing staff pose. On or off your knees, come all the way down to the floor. Good. So what I'm going to have you do, we're not going to fly into a back bend right away. What I'm going to have you do is roll onto your left side. Find your block. I'm going to have my block on the second height. I think that's appropriate, maybe the tallest height. And then while I'm resting on my left hip, my left ribs, left leg is straight, I want you to bend your right knee, bring your right knee forward and rest your right knee on your block. Okay, left leg is straight, right knee is bent. Now, I'm going to stretch my left arm forward so I can bring head to floor. This is where a blanket or a pillow might come in handy for you. You decide what you need to support your shoulders. And so from here, take your right arm over your left arm. And when you're ready, big breath in, you're going to sweep your right arm up and then open it behind you, coming into a twist. You can use your left hand on top of your right knee or thigh to give you a bit of a personal assist. If that floats your boat, no pressure. I want to give you another option. This is great here, really nice supine twist. If you want another little twisty turn in your practice today, bend your left knee, kick your left heel up towards your butt. Bring your right hand down and find your left foot. And then you bind the pose. You can rock your right shoulder towards the mat. I think the most important thing here is to not get too tied up in the shape. See what I did there? So not get too caught up in the shape and what it should look like, but rather check in with your jaw, your tongue and your throat, because those anatomical parts of you will not lie. So if there's tension in your throat or your jaw, if your tongue is glued to your mouth, or you're grinding your cheeks, the inside of your cheeks into mincemeat, it's an indication that you might ought to lighten up and back off a little bit. That's been a plot twist in my practice for sure, is honoring the inner voice, or that intuitive voice that says, you know, you don't really need to push yourself. There's a fine line between discipline and tapas and pushing for ego. Definitely guilty. Now, if you've got your left foot in your right hand, I want you to release your foot so you can extend your leg down the length of your mat again. Take your right arm out to the right. So we'll all meet where we began. And then big breath in. As you exhale, you're going to sweep your right arm up and over, until it lands on top of your left arm. Okay, take your block out from underneath your right knee, please. Bend your left knee so it supports your right knee, and slowly roll onto your back. Bring your block with you and roll over to your right side, please. And first, I'm going to come up onto my right elbow. That's not mandatory, just comfortable for me to get kind of situated. And then both legs are straight. So now I can bend left knee, swing left knee forward, stack the block underneath it. This actually feels really good right here. I might just stay here. Or, of course, you can come down onto your right shoulder, bring your head down to the floor. Left arm over right arm. And when you're ready, on an in-breath, sweep your left arm up and behind you. Apologies for the sound effects. This side. Oh my gosh. Right hand can act as a little personal assistant, bringing it to the, I can hardly talk on this side, bringing your right hand to the top of your left knee or your thigh. Oh my God. Why is this side so hard? Oh. And then another option, if you would like to experiment, you can bend your right knee, kick your heel up, reach down with your left hand and grab a hold of that foot or the ankle or your pant leg. We were in this shape earlier when we were on our hands and knees. And again, just a reminder to scan your body, scan for tension, scan for agitation and aggravation. And then heed that information. Your body's sending you messages. So heed those messages, please. If you have a hold of your right foot, go ahead and release slowly. Take your left arm out to the left. And we'll exit the way we came in, gently sweeping your left arm up and over until it rests on your right arm. Oh, a nice little chiropractic adjustment there. Move the block out from underneath your left knee and pull your right knee up. Oh, so you can stack your knees. Great. Roll onto your back, please. Okay, knees bent, feet to the floor. Oh, good. Great. And then I'm going to have you slide your block underneath your pelvis. So lift your hips. And I'm just going to have you come onto the low height of the block. I know a lot of you feel really good. It would feel good on the top, but on the top height. But for what we're doing next, stay low, please. And just snug that block underneath your sacrum, underneath your pelvis. Keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And then I'm going to have you draw your right knee into your chest. So I want you to have a little bit of cheek meat hanging off the edge of your block, okay? You draw your right knee into your chest. Good. And now you can experiment. If you want to take your left leg long, go for it. Notice how that changes things up through your, not only your left hip flexor, but through your right knee and thigh. Good. If you've got your left leg straight, I'm going to have you flex your foot and spread your toes. Keep that leg active. Good. Now, how about either staying here with your knee bent or taking your hands behind your right thigh, clasping your fingers together, or just grabbing hold of your pant leg and then straightening your right leg, taking your right heel to the ceiling and flex and point your foot a couple times. And after you've done that a couple times, I want you to end up in what is called the floint position. It's kind of like a flex, kind of like a point. It's very anatomical. Good. Spread your toes. Excellent. And pull your knee back into your chest, please. Relax your foot. Good. Set your right foot onto the mat. Keep your knee bent, please. And gently bring your left knee up and hug your left knee in. If for any reason the block is aggravating your lower back, please ditch the block and do this flat on your back. Good. And then you can bring your hands behind your leg or grab the seams of your pants and send your left heel to the ceiling. You point and flex your foot a few times. And then pause in that kind of floint position. Now, floint position is like you're sliding your foot into a pair of like high heel strappy sandals. So kind of half flexed, half pointed. Press your left thigh into your hands. Great. And then bend your left knee into your chest, relax your foot. Set your left foot onto the floor, and then we're going to stay in this bridge for about another minute. If you want to keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor, of course, do so. If you want to extend your legs down the length of your mat, so long as that's not agitating your lower back or hip flexors, your pelvis, your knees, please do what feels best for you. Arms can be anywhere that feels right in your body, down by your sides, out like a cactus, up overhead. Allow your sternum to gently buoy up towards your chin. Separate your bottom teeth from your top teeth and peel your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Begin to slow down your breath. If your legs are straight, I'll have you pull one knee up at a time. Set your feet to the floor. If your arms are over your head, bring your arms down to your sides. Lift your hips high enough to slide the block out from underneath you, and one vertebrae at a time, bring your spine down to the floor. Imagine you're dropping a strand of pearls onto your bureau. Just one pearl at a time. Until eventually your tailbone is the last part of you to come down. Let your knees drop inward and rest against one another. Take your feet a little wider, maybe even as wide as your sticky mat. This always feels like such a nice way to decompress the low back and the sacrum after a spinal extension like a back bend. Good. While you're here, maybe one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And keep moving your breath deep and rich through your nose, and without forcing it to go in any particular place or fill up any particular region, just simply notice, where does your breath go? Notice how your breath moves your body, even in this still position. And take this next moment before we drop into Shavasana. We have another couple minutes to think to yourself, like, go back to the question at the beginning of the practice. What brought you into yoga? Was it an injury? Was it community or camaraderie? And what is it that keeps you coming back? And in between that first downward dog that you ever took, and now what's happening in your life now, the twists and the turns, what has shifted, what has evolved, what has gone by the wayside. And ultimately, what part or piece of your practice has remained stable or an anchor? And maybe even that has shifted. Maybe that looks different. Okay, I'm going to have you find your way into Shavasana. So that can be right where you are. You can sweep your legs over a piece of furniture if you'd like, or take your legs up the wall, or get up onto a sofa, Jimmy crack corn. I don't care. I want you to find your way to a place where you can rest for the next 7 minutes. Maybe that just means being in a seated meditation rather than lying down. And wherever you go physically, I'm going to continue with this deep and rich breath. And begin stabilizing your breath, breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4 counts. And y'all know the drill. You know where we're going next. You're going to begin to slow down your exhalations. Once your breath becomes, this 4-count breath becomes effortless for you, start lengthening your exhales until you're breathing in for 4 and out for 6. And then maybe you do that for a few rounds, and then make your way to breathing in for 4 and out for 8. When you land on the rhythm or the ratio that suits your physiology, give yourself 7 of those breaths, please. And then let go. No more controlling, manipulating, scheming. Let your breath find its own pattern. Begin to deepen your breath. If you have the time in your schedule and in your space to stay in Shavasana for another 5 minutes or so, please do so. Otherwise, a longer inhale, deeper inhale, a little movement to your hands and to your feet. A little inventory before you sit up, just kind of checking in whether you follow the line of the aesthetics and view our body as just a sack of skin holding all manner of funk and nasty, or whether you fall in line with a more modern approach, looking at the body as maybe a more Western approach, I should say, looking at the body as a temple or a vehicle. Either way, the practice of Hatha Yoga has the ultimate goal of seeing the body as a tool for liberation, using the body as a tool for liberation. So whatever floats your boat, begin to make your way up to sitting. And thinking about what keeps us grounded in our practice, just a shout out to the teachers on the screen. Consistency, I think, has been such a key part of not only my teaching, but my practice and being a student, knowing just, we all have that teacher that we know is going to be consistent and is going to be there for us. I have that person in my life. And I think that's been pretty huge when I think about what or who have been the anchors in all the twists and turns that my practice has taken over the years. So as teachers, know that you are that person for someone in your realm. Someone looks to you as that anchor and that consistency. This is one of the first chants that I learned when I began practicing and studying yoga. So I thought we'd go back to square one. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Really simple and sweet. You don't have to join me if you don't want. Bring your palms together and I'll roll through it 3 times. Inhaling. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and be free, and may the thoughts and the words and the actions of our lives contribute in some small way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Bring the base of your thumbs up to your forehead, please, pausing at your third eye. The peace that we generate on our mats, may it provide peace in our minds. Slide your fingertips down to your lips. The peace that we generate on our mats, may it provide peace in our words. And then finally, your hands come back to your heart where we started. The peace that we generate on our mats, with one another on the screen, in our community, both physical and digital, may this bring peace into our hearts. Thank you for joining me.